wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me that was bringing you down. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more?
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Hello everybody, and welcome here to the third testing session for the Preseason Thunder Season 6 Duracell Cup Series competition. We are here at Chatham Raceway, another road course. This is the second road course that we've done for preseason testing here so far. And as you saw, we have a intro. So the Season 6 intro has been put together. It is ready to roll. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Stepping into a new generation here in Duracell Cup Series competition with the next-gen car, so it seemed appropriate that we had a new generation of introduction for the series. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in here to this preseason Thunder testing session. This, of course, giving us an opportunity to be able to see what kind of action we can expect to see at certain racetracks that, up to this point, the ones that we've tested, including here at Chatham, they are going to be appearing on the schedule. A lot of different things still happening behind the scenes. The intro completed. The schedule has been completed as well. I'll be running that down so that way you guys are able to know where these drivers will be at during the course of the season, both regular season and playoffs. A lot changed in the playoffs, I'll tell you that much. And also give us an idea, much like it did at the Charlotte Roval and at Nashville Superspeedway, of maybe who some of the drivers will be to watch coming into the respective racetracks. Gonna have maybe a couple more preseason Thunder testing sessions at a couple of different tracks. So keep tuned for those as we're waiting for some drivers' lap times to head up on the board. See Michael Norman there in the comments. Michael, welcome. I noticed your message there on Facebook. This is live. This is not a premiere. Still debating whether or not future Duracell Cup Series broadcasts are going to be taking place live or if they will be scheduled premiere races. But as of right now, the preseason Thunder testing sessions, they will be taking place live. So it looks like we've got about a half dozen drivers that have put lap down on the board. So you'll see up on the top of your screen those lap times scroll across. One thing that I noticed that I did last week, so still trying to work out the kinks, is last week we were, or not last week, but last testing session, we were at the Nashville Superspeedway, and I had the top banner say that we were apparently still at the Charlotte Roval for testing. So nobody called me out on that. Guess I dodged a bullet there, but I noticed it after I went back and realized, oh, I didn't even change that template. So I got the templates changed here for Chatham at least. Those that might not be familiar with Chatham, I'm not even certain Chatham's a real racetrack. It might be, it might not be. But back in the day, back when I had a very, very old computer, as opposed to the old computer I have now, but I mean like a very, very old computer. This was back when, I think when it was either Windows 98 or 2000 software. I can't remember which one. But there was a sports car GT game that I had. And the two tracks that I loved going to particularly were Chatham and Lime Rock. Lime Rock has been a mainstay on the schedule ever since Season 1, continues to be here in the Duracell Cup Series. Got a sentimental attraction to that racetrack. I've also raced it online, had it on online schedules, and it's actually brought about some really good road course racing. Chatham hasn't really made that much of an appearance on any of the schedules for my offline series, but a big reason for that was the original Chatham that had come out. They were constantly wrecking in this area of the racetrack. There's a downhill, then into a left-hand, right-hand, left-hand, and the drivers, or the cars, would constantly be wrecking there. Well, you may have noticed in the intro, there is a scene at the Chatham Raceway where they were taking it 3 wide all the way through the field and making it through the S's. So with that much encouragement, Chatham is finally going to be making an appearance on the schedule. As a matter of fact, Chatham's going to be not only making an appearance on the schedule for the first time, but it's going to be a playoff race. Yeah, I'll get you my intro for your commercials, Michael, no problem. Alright, so for those that are interested, as stated, spent the last couple of days compiling, testing, checking out racetracks that looked like they would be good to put on the schedule. Took out a couple of the clunkers, if you will, that haven't exactly had the best track record, no pun intended, here in Duracell Cup Series competition. Hopefully, the replacements will make for better racing. I did a couple of testing sessions just to see if they would be compatible. And a couple of them are actually going to be the upcoming preseason Thunder testing sessions too, just to see what happens when you put all the cars on the racetrack at the same time. But we're going to be starting out the season, obviously, at Daytona. We're going to be having the Clash first. The Clash will be taking place at the Bowman Gray, or Madhouse. As of right now, only 13 drivers are actually locked into this year's Clash. And so we're going to end up having a total of 18 drivers, where we're going to end up having 3 drivers race their way in through a Clash Open, and then 2 drivers will get in through a random draw. Then we go to Daytona for Daytona 500 weekend. We kick things off with the pole day qualifying, top 2 fastest speeds during the pole day qualifying. We'll start in the front row. We'll have the 2 duels. Probably going to call them the Blame Shelley Insurance duels this year. That'll set the rest of the field for the Daytona 500. Still up in the air whether or not I'm going to have one-offs in there or not. Probably not, just because I don't think it's fair that people that end up signing up, 42-car field, end up missing out on the big race. Then we'll have the Daytona 500. Following week, we go to Manassas and Las Vegas. Those 2 tracks have pretty much been races 2 and 3 since the start of Duracell Cup Series competition, so they stay there. Then Pocono Raceway jumps from the second half of the regular season up to the first half. That'll be race number 4. We then head to the desert at Phoenix Raceway. North Wilkesboro Speedway will be race number 6. That'll be the first time North Wilkesboro has been on the schedule. Indianapolis jumps up in the schedule. That track's now going to be 7th on the list. Our first road course race of the season will be at Sonoma. That'll be race 8. Texas Motor Speedway, the good Texas Motor Speedway, will be race number 9. And then Super Speedway race at Coke Zero Super Speedway will be race number 10. We go short track racing at the Dodge Motordrome. That's going to be race 11. Darlington Raceway, the Lady in Black, back at race number 12. And then the final race of the first half of the regular season is going to be Chicagoland Speedway, leading us into the All-Star break. All-Star races will be taking place at Charlotte Motor Speedway, as well as the All-Star Open. Second half of the regular season, the chase towards the chase for the championship, if you will, kicks off, of course, with our longest race of the season at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We then go to M&M Super Speedway, which was, people will remember back in the Snickers Cup Series, that was the venue for the All-Star race in that series. So the track that now holds the All-Star race and the track that formerly held the All-Star race in back-to-back weeks, races 14 and 15. We then go to the Monster Mile, race 16 at Dover, race 17 in the Midwest Kansas Speedway, and then Chicago Motor Speedway comes back on the schedule. It'll be race number 18. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, we're up in the Northeast for race 19, the Charlotte Roval that we saw the preseason testing session first at. That's going to be out of the playoffs and up to race 20, so right in the middle of the second half of the regular season. Then it's the Bluegrass State, Kentucky Speedway at race 21. Race 22 will be at Homestead Miami Speedway. That's right, this season, Homestead Miami Speedway will not be the venue for the season finale. It will not be where the championship is decided. That's race 22, road course of Watkins Glen. That's going to be race 23. Atlanta Motor Speedway, not Super Speedway, Atlanta Motor Speedway is going to be race 24. Bristol Dirt, back at the very end of the regular season as it's race 25. And then Auto Club Speedway, much like the last couple of seasons, that's going to be the regular season finale to set our playoff grid. Now you'll notice a number of tracks familiar here in the upcoming playoffs, but you'll notice some tracks that are not all that familiar either, a couple of them making their debuts on the schedule in very prominent places, including Gateway Raceway. That's going to be the first place we go to for the playoffs, race 27. Track we're at today here, Chatham Raceway, that's going to be race 28. And then the track that we were at for testing last time, Nashville Super Speedway, that's going to be the first elimination race, race 29. That's going to be some familiar tracks for the round of 8. Actually, correction, the round of 12, I should say. Hillside Raceway at race 30. Lime Rock Raceway Park at race 31. And then Arizona Speedway will be another elimination race, much as it has been in the last 2 or 3 seasons. at race 32. Boston International Speedway, that's going to be race 33 in the round of 8. Talladega Superspeedway going to be right in the middle at race 34, and then Rockingham Speedway will be the final elimination race. Mention that Homestead is not where the season finale will be taking place at. Michigan Speedway will now be the new venue where the championship will be decided here in Season 6 of the Duracell Cup Series. Here's the new colors on Keith Batson. Safety clean Ford Mustang. Got a couple of changes that have taken place here as well. Why is this, RJ? Because I put Michigan as the season finale? I don't know. Quentin, nice to see you, man. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in here for this testing session. Just getting some preseason things sorted out. Make sure everything is good to go for the upcoming 6th season of the Duracell Cup Series. But not only that new scheme there for Keith Batson, but if we can find him here, a little bit of a change going on as far as a driver. There he is, Dylan Poteet. We've seen the last couple of testing sessions, and it was obviously announced with the paint schemes video. Looked like Dylan Poteet was going to be driving a Ford for Michael Norman Motors. Well, not necessarily for Michael Norman Motorsports, but going to be an affiliation with Michael Norman Motorsports with Twinix Racing. But we got the update here just a couple of days ago that he actually made the move to Chevrolet and is going to be the 4th entry out of Fortnite Squad Racing, joining Anthony McCurry and Carson Gumbs Chevrolets, as well as Nick Gunther's Mazda. Spider-Man, the primary sponsor on that Chevrolet Camaro. Not certain what the second primary is going to be. Seeing some skid marks right there. I just noticed them there on that left side rumble strip through the right-hand portion of the S's. Not certain who exactly it was that happened to, but it's like nobody else was involved, just one set of skid marks. As we look at the lap times, Keith Batson right now at the top of the board. Austin LaPlante, Ryan Butcher, Destin Bolin, and Nathan Ormond currently your top 5. Good representation there of all 3 manufacturers in the top 3, Ford, Chevy, and Toyota. We're looking at James Qualls, who just dropped to 10th. He was 9th, but Jose Mills just jumped up to the 7th position. You know, a lot of people look at this racetrack and might think, you know, where is the best spot to make up time? Believe it or not, it's not in this area of the racetrack, the speedway type section. It's actually right down here in the road course section. If you're brave, you can really attack this area, kind of coast it into the S's, wait to get back to the throttle about right here. And then this right here is the toughest corner of the racetrack. You got to get it down to second. Some drivers prefer first gear, although there is a bit of wheel spin when you get back to the throttle. All depends on which lower gear you want to be in, and then it's all about that launch back to the start-finish line. It's going to be the one interesting thing about this racetrack as opposed to most of the other road courses we're going to. Most of the other road courses, I think we're going to see a lot more passing for position, especially for the lead take place under green flag pit stops. That's usually been the case at tracks like Watkins Glen and Sonoma. We saw the lead passed around a lot last year when we were at Road America. But at this particular racetrack, as you can see right there, Poteet taking that corner wide. There's a lot of room for error. We may end up seeing more passing for the lead at this road course than we have at any other road course so far in Duracell Cup Series. Got some teammates right there. Benjamin Miles, who was fastest back at the Nashville Super Speedway testing session. Jack Duran right behind him, his teammate out of Northeast Motorsports. Miles right now is 30th on the board. Jack Duran, or Dunnard. I'm going to be getting that name wrong all season long. Dunnard. I'm switching the R in the end. My apologies there. Jack Dunnard. Right now 23rd on the board. There is the Morgan Shepherd looking 89. Quentin Moore right now 36th on the board. Fastest lap 39.568. Fastest lap time so far 39.354 by Keith Batson as we're side by side through the S's. Ryan Brommer, the Twix Toyota, got caught, and look at Miles make the pass around the outside. Here's an idea of who can get the better launch off the corner. Looks like the outside line got a better launch. Look at that. So you can actually pass around drivers right, as shown right there by the Hertz Chevrolet. Didn't improve his lap time, but certainly looked cool. Joshua Osborne. Joshua's going to be an interesting one to watch here this season because last 3 years, well, 2 seasons, last 2 seasons, he's kind of, I don't know, just kind of been out there. Hasn't had the opportunity to really show what he's able to do in a full-time ride. He drove in a non-charter capacity back in Season 4 for Evans Gardner Motorsports. Last season, he was in 1 1/3 of the 27 team at Joanna Atwood Motorsports, but now going to get a chance to run full-time. There's a few drivers in the field that are going to get to do that. We're going to get to see what they are able to do in a full-time ride. One of those drivers, amazingly enough, is one of our defending champions of the series. And of course, Caleb Vogler. The car just up ahead of Carson Gove right there. RJ Bishop, he'd be another one. Bishop was basically in the same situation that Joshua Osborne has been in the last 2 seasons. He drove in a non-charter entry for Young Motorsports back in Season 4, and then last season split the number 2 car with Dylan Young and Adam Garcia. But now in a full-time ride here this year with Young Motorsports in that number 98. We're going to end up seeing 2 different Kroger cars for RJ Bishop during the course of this season. This is one of the primaries, and this is the second primary at some point here in the future. Mentioned Dylan Young, there he is. Number 2 Ford Mustang, following the tire tracks of Jessica Shelton. Right now, Young's 12th on the board. Shelton is currently 33rd. Again, as mentioned too, the first race of the season is going to be the Clash at Bowman Gray. I heard that they were working on a LA Coliseum track, but I guess there hasn't been any update about that. Was looking just a couple days ago, and there was an announcement that somebody was working on it on Reddit. This was a few months ago. I think this was back in December of 2001, but nothing has apparently culminated of it, so that's why we're going to be running the next best thing at Bowman Gray Stadium. And it was amazing. There were about, I think, 21 or 22 drivers that got poles last season. But of the drivers that are returning this year that are in rides, only 13 of them are locked into the Clash. And so rather than have just 13 cars on the racetrack, we're going to be making a big night of it. We'll have the remaining drivers that aren't locked into the Clash take part in a Clash Open. Top 3 will make their way in via the top 3 finishing positions, and then 2 drivers will get in through a random draw. And basically how that's going to go down is there'll be a random draw of 1 through however many cars there are, which I believe there are 29 cars, and 2 numbers that are drawn. Whoever at the end of the race, when those numbers are drawn, whoever end up finishing those positions, they'll end up getting put into the Clash field. This is probably one of my favorite cars just because I am a fan of pizza. Number 44 of Reese Banks. 3rd entry out of Lake Effect Autosport. Teammate to Jesse Turner, and the car just up ahead of him there, the rookie Benjamin Snyder. Here's Snyder, the race gear merch Ford Mustang. Rob Evans in 65, just behind Reese Banks. Rob, of course, a former winner at a road course, albeit in a non-charter capacity back in Season 4, won at the Indianapolis Road Course, which is not coming back this year. We're going to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, like we did last year. There's Evans' teammate, Ali Liera. Ali right now 37th on the board. Not able to best anything over a 39.567. And there's one of our defending champs, Caleb Fogler, the Louisville Automotive entry. 13th on the board right now for the defending champ. A little under 9 minutes left here in this session as there's Nathan Ormond. If I run down this list real quickly, I'm going to see if off the top of my head I can name off the 13 drivers that are locked into the Clash. I'm going to count on my fingers to make sure that I get these all correct here. I know Ormond is one of them. I'm going to use the list I've got in front of me since I don't actually have the official list up in front of my face. So if I recall correctly, the drivers at this point that I know of off the top of my head that are locked into the Clash would include Austin LaPlante, Ryan Butcher, Anthony McCrory, Nathan Ormond, Jose Mills. I believe Carson Gum is locked into it. Michael Norman is locked in, but I think he's locked in as a former Clash winner. Charles Sanford is locked in. Levi McIntyre is locked in. Jessica Shelton is locked in. Cody Lamas is locked in. Nick Gunther is locked in. That's 12. I'm missing one. I am missing one, and I'm trying to remember who it is. Oh, I know who it is. I do know who it is. Dylan Poteet. I think I got him. I think I got them all. That was 13 when I counted on my fingers. Good pack here to watch. Matthews, Sam Ryder, Levi McIntyre, Joshua Osborne there as well, and then you got a little group behind them. To replace the current scheme. Oh, okay, you don't like my work? Okay. Saw Dollarton get his left sides off the racing surface just a little bit there. Mitchell Collins wanted to take advantage, but Dollarton was able to hold him off. James Qualls looking on. Well, get a look at that 74 car. We can do that. Well, it's heading for pit road right now. Get some adjustments made. Right now, P31 on the board. Phil, how you doing? Nathan Ormond coming back out onto the track. Here's the slowest car on the track right now. Zachary Fitzwater, the Foster's Chevy Camaro. And even his best lap isn't that bad. It's about 3/10 off the fastest lap set today, but a 39.624. Still respectable, but obviously gotta think wants to improve better than that. How about James Qualls? I was just looking at the top 10. And James Qualls has jumped up into second. Where is he at? There he is. I got a little draft there on the straightaway when he was running behind this battle of Collins and Dollarton, but 39.380 for the Ford Travel Motor Coach Chevrolet Camaro. Nicely done there. Another driver that's also jumped up into the top 10, Anthony McCrory, in the 61. He is now 7th on the board. Got a number of drivers that have their different niches of the types of tracks they like to run at. For Anthony McCrory, he is one of those that loves the road courses. Same can be said for Nick Gunther. William Hoer, trying to get around Dylan Poteet. Poteet catching up here to Ryan Brommer. Poteet and Brommer were teammates last year. Don't forget, they both, along with James Shelley, drove the 31 car for... My mind just blanked out. What was the team called then? Was it Fortnite Squad Racing then? I don't think it was. I'm trying to remember what that team was even called at that point in time. Maybe it was Fortnite Squad Racing. Can't recall. Ryan Brommer, this is the third season in a third different manufacturer. Season 4, he was in a Dodge, his final year with Bulldog Motorsports. Last year, Chevrolet. Yeah, it was Fortnite Squad Racing. And then this year, a Toyota. With the team that, at this point in time, I am dubbing maybe the strongest team, just in terms of their performance last year, and that's Auto Junction Racing. I mean, that team was incredible. They had 5 wins as a 2-car team. 2 with Roberto Crown Jr., 2 with, well, 1 with, was it Ryan Butcher, and then 2 with, I blanked out. Blanked out of who that other driver was in 78 that had the 2 victories. I can remember Butcher and I can remember Alexander Rowe, but I can't remember who the other driver was. They have both of their teams as well up inside of the Final 4 for the championship. How's it going, Keith? Again, appreciate everybody tuning in here for Preseason Thunder. I know, Michael. It's been a long off season though too. A lot of if I had ended up getting a lot of this put together like 2 months ago, all the stats would be fresh in my head still. But had too many unicorn flicks. That is probably the accurate answer. That is probably exactly what's causing my memory failure. No, Roberto Crown Jr. was the 77. That's how I remembered the 2 wins with the 77. I'm trying to recall who the 2-time winner was in the 78 car. I know Butcher had 1 win, but there was one driver that had 2 wins in the 78 car, and for some reason, was it? Oh, Diego Yepes. That's who it was. There it is. Eventually I would get it. Maybe not necessarily during this broadcast, but eventually I would get it. I'd probably wake up in the middle of the night and be like, that's who it was! It was Yepes! Nobody's been able to get close to Keith Batson's lap time. Only one other driver has been able to run 39.3s. That was James Qualls, and even his lap was almost 3 100ths off the 39.354 laid down by Keith Batson. Most everybody out there has run at least 35 laps. The driver so far that has run the most in this testing session would be Caleb Vogler. He has run 41 laps in total, and there's a good 5, 6, 7 drivers just behind him at 40 laps, including Qualls, Ryan Butcher, Joshua Osborne, Chris Dollerton, Samuel Ryder, Kyle Matthews, Benjamin Miles, and Jesse Turner. Whoa, we got cars off the track there. Quentin Moore, the 89, Benjamin Miles, the 25. Like the pretty good damage on the left rear of the Hertz Chevrolet. And same can be said there for the Bucky's number 89. Let's test out the replay screen, why don't we? Let's go back and see what happened. We haven't had a chance really here to be able to go back and use the replay screen. I probably should have used it when we were back at the Charlotte Roval when they all died on the backstretch chicane. Here's a look at it. Oh, we got his right sides off the rumble strip and into the grass. Just clips Benjamin Miles. And those tire barriers, they will get you. They will rip the car apart. Miles hit the Armco barrier there. Quentin Moore, he got the tires, so there'd be a lot more damage, more than likely sustained for Moore than there would be for Miles. Here's another look at it from Miles' perspective. Just got clipped, almost cleared it. I thought I saw damage on the right front, but it looks like he may have spun with the right front, having a bit of space between itself and that wall. And the session is almost complete, I do believe. And it is. As soon as we come back to live session, it's complete. So there you go. Let's take a look and see what the official lap times were here. Some of the drivers we might be keeping an eye on when this track makes its appearance. Short track guy, kind of shocking. Hey, these next gen cars, you never know. They can make you good at a track that you may not necessarily expect. But Batson, congrats, you got the fastest lap here in this testing session. Qual second, LaPlante third, Ryan Butcher in fourth. Reese Banks and Destin Bolin, the rookies showing up again here today. We saw 3 or 4 of them up in the top 10 last time out at the Nashville Superspeedway. You got a couple of them up here in 5th and 6th position, couple of Fords. Anthony McCrory in 7th, Nathan Ormond 8th, Mitchell Collins and Jose Mills completing the top 10. Number of Fords up there. I believe we've got 6 Fords up inside of the top 10. And then you look a little bit further down here, and again, these are drivers that they're very happy this is preseason Thunder. They get the chance to be able to make adjustments for when we end up eventually coming back here, which is going to be a while from now. Chatham going to be the second race of the playoffs, race 28. So a lot of time to be able to prepare. And, boy, a couple of names down here at the bottom of the list that are really shocking. You got the defending champ, Kyle Matthews, down there in 33rd. Cole Deaver, who has a victory, I think it was his first career win, came back in Season 4 at the Indianapolis Road Course, so you would have expected he'd have good a run here. Cody Lamas, he had a win at a road course last year at Road America. He's 38th on the board, and Nick Gunther, who's a very good road course racer, he's all the way down there in 42nd. I wonder if that's the driver, if that's the Mazda project. They're still trying to figure out how to find the speed to match up with the rest of the manufacturers, but right now 42nd on the board is where they're going to be for the end of this session. The rookies this year, I'll run them down real quickly on this list here. It's Reese Banks, Destin Boland, William Hoer, Caleb Fogler. Even though he is the defending champion, he did not meet the required number of starts to not be a rookie, so he's still a rookie this season. Noah Hendrickson, Laura Chung, Rick Johnson, Samuel Ryder, Jack Dunnard. I got it right. I said it correctly this time. As well as, I lost my place here, Benjamin Snyder, Zachary Fitzwater, I believe, is a rookie as well, and Quentin Moore is also a rookie this season. So those are the drivers that are rookies this year and will be battling for the Rookie of the Year honors. We've got at least 2 more tracks, I believe, that we've got preseason Thunder testing to do at, and that'll be taking place in the next couple of weeks. One of those tracks are going to include the Gateway Raceway, which will be the opener for the playoffs, and I believe the other one, although it's not confirmed yet, I believe that the other one is going to be at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. So a couple of short tracks just to make sure that they are going to fit the bill of what type of short track racing we're going to want to have. But thank you everybody for tuning in here to this preseason Thunder testing session. Appreciate you hanging out with me, keeping me entertained here, be able to carry on conversation, not have a lot of dead air on the microphone. And we will see you guys next time for the next testing session. Hope you guys enjoyed the intro. You'll see it again for the upcoming testing sessions. Yeah, 1.25 miles, but I still count it as a short track the way that it races. If it races like a short track, it's a short track to me. But hopefully everybody enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. I'm out.